Hello, everyone. How are you? So, welcome back today. Thank you so much for being here to all the persons who are interested in this workshop. Hi, Raftar. I'm straight. So, let me just quick chat if you have any questions. So, it says, is there any prerequisites for this workshop? Uh, I, I can say that you have to know a, l- a little bit of front end technologies like React. But if not, don't worry about it. We are going to hopefully get everything that we need from today. Also, let me know if you can hear me well. If there's any kind of troubles with my internet or anything like that, because today I'm having some troubles with my connection. But yeah, you don't need to have anything in particular. We're going to use Next.js. We're going to use Tailwind, but basically everything is just pretty much CSS. So with that, that should be all. I think so. So yeah. So if so, Rafter says, is it okay if I only know about HTML, CSS, and all JS? Awesome. Yeah, it is okay. Don't worry about it. So we're going to basically fetch some data, and we're going to use some APIs for extract information from some cryptocurrencies, and we're going to also use Next.js to try to build some server components. We're going to talk about that later. So in all my streams, I try to do this almost religiously, like try to talk about the student developer pack. So if you don't know what the student developer pack is, this is a great place for you for meeting it. So before everything, my name is David. I'm a Mexican student. Actually, currently I'm a coach in the MLH, and I hope this workshop helps you to understand a little bit more uh, about how to integrate APIs and Web3. So basically, this is just the first part. We are going to have two parts. So because we need to have fundamentals for trying to build the second thing that we want to do, we're going to just try to use these 2 hours that we have to try to understand a little bit about how to use Next.js, how to use some things like React, because for using Next.js, you need to have some understanding about React and states and things like that. But basically, we're just going to build kind of like a table or like a dashboard where you can see the current USD prices of each one of the currencies that we are going to look up. But before going to that, let me share yeah, I think you can see it now. So yeah, so welcome today. So if you are a student that you're interested in building awesome things, in building applications, in learning new technologies, like for example, if you want to learn some front end technologies or you want to skill up any one of your abilities that you have in the technology, like I don't know, from becoming a machine learning engineer, a DevOps engineer, developer advocate, or even just want to build something for your hobby, that's okay. So welcome to the GitHub Student Developer Pack. So the GitHub Student Developer Pack is a real cool thing that GitHub gives you just for being a student. So one of the coolest things that gives you are experiences. So experiences are basically just some kind of prepared stuff for you for trying to understand a little bit more about like all these technologies that exist in the industry, and try to help you to build a path where you can search what you want, what you like, what you don't like. If, like, for example, you are first getting into web technologies and you don't know if your place is into the front end, better you like maybe back end, or you like more doing puzzles, maybe DevOps is for you. If you like data science, or if you want to become a mobile developer, mobile engineer, GitHub gets you covered with all that. So basically, it gives you all these experiences that help you to use the GitHub Student Developer Pack tools that give to you as free. So you can make, for example, how to become a mobile app developer. So it has these offers and bundles that it has. So it basically gives you like a kind of path where you can use all these tools and try to build awesome things with that. So you have a toolkit, you can get started with that. But yeah, there are a lot of experiences that you can use. There's data science, introduction to JavaScript, career readiness. If you're graduating from college and you want to try to build a portfolio or build your resume or anything like that, if you want to prepare for your technical interviews, maybe career readiness is a great path for you. If you want to become a better designer, you can use Figma. You can use all the icon libraries that GitHub Student Developer gives you, and basically GitHub gives you like almost, I think it's $2,000 or $3,000 in basically credits. So as you can see, if, for example, for career readiness or for front end, hey, I want to become a front end engineer and I want to build my first portfolio, and I want it to be, for example, David.me or anything like that, right? So you can have not just one, but two and three domains. So you have almost like 3 years of domains as free, so you don't need to spend any dollar in this. So this is all awesome. This is awesome. You have all your SSL certificates. You have your domains with Namecheap, Native.com, and that tech domains. Also, you can use DigitalOcean, like, hey, I want to play with my friends. I want to make a Minecraft server. Hey, you can host it in DigitalOcean. You can own your own VPS and start creating your Minecraft server there. there are a lot of tutorials for making this, and this is real awesome because you can do a lot of stuff in DigitalOcean. If you want to host your API, if you want to host your own server of Minecraft in DigitalOcean, you have like $200 in credits in DigitalOcean, so you don't need to spend anything, and you can do a lot of cool stuff with this. You have it for 1 year. I tried to do it like 2 years or 3 years ago, and I hosted half a year my server, Minecraft server, with my friends, and it was awesome. And if you have a lot of friends, you can just pass your server to your friend, and you can continually keep playing Minecraft. So that is cool. And also, if you want to learn cloud technologies, you want to use cognitive services, create applications that can identify the faces of persons, that can identify, differentiate what is an animal and what is a person, and anything like that with AI and things like that. You can build a lot of cool stuff with Microsoft Azure. You have also JetBrains if you like other IDE that is not a Visual Studio Code. If you like more something like PyCharm or anything like that, you have a lot of things here in JetBrains. All the JetBrains IDEs are free for you as you are a student. Also, if you like, for example, if you want to learn a little bit more about front end, you have Front End Master, you have Educated for preparing a little bit more for your coding interviews, Heroku for hosting your APIs, DataCamp for learning a little bit more about data science and becoming a machine learning engineer. Hey, I want to build my first web page, but I don't know anything about HTML, and don't want to spend a lot of time building it. You have Bootstrap Studio. This is a drag and drop tool that you can use. GitHub Pages, you have unlimited GitHub Pages. MongoDB, you have credits in MongoDB Atlas, and so on and so on. You have a lot of cool stuff. Algo Expert, it is one of it's like the competence of lead code, but it's really cool. It has also some kind of tiers that you can use, and also you can train for becoming a front-end engineer. It has like problems for beating them as a front-end engineer. You have Datadog if you want to be if you are trying to build a DevOps career. Having a little bit about experience in Datadog is a real cool thing. If you want to, I don't know, Icon Scout, you want more designs, you want things like that, preparing, you have GitHub Campus Expert that you can become a GitHub Campus Expert. And you have this support for your community if you want to become a leader in your community and you want to build also teams. That's cool. And yeah, you want to stream, you have StreamYard and so on and so on. So as you can see, there are a lot of stuff here that you can use. All of them are really cool. I encourage you to please go and get your student developer pack. For getting it is really easy. You just need to sign up for your student developer pack and try to click to individuals, then go to students, get the student benefits. Then you're going to have a session where you're going to need to pass like your college or boot camp or high school credentials. If you have like a card and a school ID or anything like that, you can pass, just take a photo of that ID, upload it them. It is a little bit more easier if you have like a educational mail. So you just need to pass the name of your school, what are you going to plan to do with this, and yeah, that's all. It is as easy as that, and you can expect it to get it 3 days after uploading your application, and that will be all. You have almost 3,000 of dollars in credits and a lot of stuff as for free. So it is really cool. So yeah. So okay, we have finished this part. Okay, a lot of spam, a lot of stuff. So yeah, as we said, we're going to build kind of dashboard, kind of table of cryptocurrencies. So the important part here is that we're not going to get a lot into Web3. We first are going to learn the fundamentals. We're trying to understand a little bit more about the front end tool that we can use, this front end framework. We're going to learn how to fetch APIs, how Next.js works, what is an app router, how the folder structure works, and so on, so on. So if you want to get into the GitHub repository, you can go. And yeah, so another cool thing that I forget to share is that we're going to use code spaces. So code spaces is basically GitHub ID is basically Visual Studio Code in the cloud, so you don't need to worry about anything like, hey, maybe my computer is not that powerful for um, running a Next.js application, or maybe I have not enough power for making an API or anything like that. So don't worry about it. GitHub has you covered. So as you can see, we have these code spaces. So it is as easy as going to your repository and then going to your going to the bottom that says create a code space, and that should be all. You'll be running Visual Studio Code with your favorite IDs, your favorite extensions, your favorite themes, anything you want to use. You can use it in GitHub code spaces. But enough talking, let's try to work. And I already passed the repository here, and let me share my screen just to get the code spaces in the stream. So let me know if that is enough soon for you, or if you need a little bit more soon. I think this is enough. But again, let me know if that is enough. I think it is. So yeah. So again, I already posted the repository there. Blah 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 blah. And yeah, all right. So let me just clear this. And as you start your application or you start your repository, remember you just need to go to the GitHub repository, do a fork of it, and start with well, the green button that says code. And after that, just go to code spaces and open a code space. And that should be all. And blah, 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 blah. Let me know if you already are into the code space. And if not, I'm going to wait you. All right. How do I get into code space? Let me stop sharing that. Let me change my screen and let me go into my repository. So once you enter into this repository, oh, I forgot to add it to the stream. Yeah. So it is really easy. You just need to go into the repository that I pass into in the stream, and after going that, and just try to click into the green button where you usually go into local, and as you see, there's this clone area, this clone section. So you don't need anything of that. You just go to code spaces, and let me just refresh that because I think this is not uploaded. Yeah, now it is. So go into code spaces, and then you're going to see a giant green button that says create a new code space. So after that, you just need to click this into the create code spaces, and you're going to see something like this, like, hey, we're preparing your code space. And after that, you're going to see almost a kind of Visual Studio Code in your browser, right? So you don't need to worry about anything of that. You don't need to worry about any like, hey, if this is going to take too much of my CPU or of my RAM or my graphics card or anything like that. So don't worry about that. Everything is already covered. So it's going to take a while to load this, but after that you should see the code of the page. And I don't know why it's taking so long. I think it's my connection. Blah, 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 blah. It's not showing any code space to you. Huh. Oh, did you fork it already? Mm. So remember, before going, use an option to create a new code space. Yeah, so the option is to so you just need to click into create a new code space, and after that, that should be all. Let me just reload this to see again. Now it loads when I reload it, right? Typical. This is timing. This is timing. I don't know why. Let me go again. Try to reload this. I don't know what is going on with my connection today, but I have got a lot of troubles. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see what's going on. But please being a little bit more faster. Yes, I think it's getting worse. Yeah, I think it's getting a little bit worse. Yeah, it is getting worse. Hey, Indigo, how are you? It's nice to see you again. So, having some troubles with my. Sorry for that. I don't know if you still can hear me, but I having some kind of troubles with my internet. Internet connection. Hope this gets a little bit well. Hmm. Okay, so I hope this gets well. If not, rip. Rest in peace. Rest in pepperonis. So let me just share my ping with you. Roll hug, go hug with, join blah blah blah, hug together, we're pretty weak. So let me go check again if the internet has got a little bit better. Well, I mean, it's less than. No, it is not. Huh. Okay, I think now it's always well. I think so. Okay. Yeah. So sorry for that. Sorry for thinking so long. And I'm trying to get my internet to work, but I mean, it's getting this is tough, man. Uh, yeah. So. Uh, yeah. It's my internet. Sorry for that. I'm having some for this. My internet's almost like 2,000 milliseconds with the ping. So I have a ping of 2,000 milliseconds. So yeah, I think that explains a little bit about why I'm taking so long. But yeah. So Web3 essentials, the Web3 ethical stream. So I just downloaded the. To be honest, I didn't assist to it, but I downloaded the screenshot, the slides that were shared into the well Hack Week announcements. Man, this is not working. Man. I don't know why. Huh. So if you can hear it, to run the code space, you can do it by just uh, typing in the console npm first npm install, and after that you need to run npx run npm run that, and that's all. But again, my internet's just dying a lot. Huh. Sorry for that, guys. Yeah, I'm trying to. I think I can. Some can. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, the problem is that my internet is dying like a lot, and it's not about the local server. It's about um, the problem is downloading the project because well we need internet for downloading Next.js and so on and so on. And well, let me know. Let me see if this works. I hope it works. So let me open a new Visual Studio window and just trying to blah 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 and blah blah blah. Share my screen to my Visual Studio and create a new folder. Let me just go into my GitHub and oh, even GitHub is not working today. So yeah, huh. So I'm going to do a sacrifice for you. So let me see if I have enough data to share. Uh, uh, I don't have. Maybe just 1 minute to try to see if I can try to restart my router because it's dying. So just get the overlay to show and not well. Please overlay. I think now you can see me. Hey everyone, after a lollipop and some uh hi Indigo. After a lollipop and and some internet problems, we didn't fix the internet, so I had to buy some 2 hours of unlimited internet here from my cell phone, but don't worry about it. So yeah, let's try to continue. We were into the indie code spaces, right? Yeah, a lollipop, uh, pina colada lollipop. Um, I don't know. I think it's a pina colada with chili, with some chili in it. It's a little bit spicy and some. Uh, yeah, it was a lollipop. Like I don't have any kind of proofs, but I also don't deny it. So yeah, let me just share it in my screen and go into the code spaces. I hope now it works. Yeah, it needs to like yeah, but if not, let me go and be prepared for just call me repo. I'm gonna go to my repos and blah blah global hack week. Let me clone it from my Visual Studio so we can start with this. No, thank God, thanks God. And so now we can see everything. So yeah, again, so this is Code Spaces. Sorry for everything again, but let's start. So again, this is Code Spaces. Code Spaces is basically Visual Studio Code in the cloud, so you don't need to worry about any of your RAM or your processor and anything like that. Let me add it to the stream. Yeah, now you can see it. So this is Code Spaces. Code Spaces is Visual Studio Code in the cloud. You can do anything, all the things that you do usually in Visual Studio Code, but with some other functions, like being able to open a port in the browser and just go into that port and uh, see what that port has. So, for example, for the first thing that you should do is open a terminal. So, usually it's with Control Tilde, but because I have a Spanish keyboard, is with Control Ñ. So, yeah, Control Tilde, I'll just go and do Command Palette, and Command for opening Command Palette is Control Shield P, and do open terminal or terminal. Uh, well, it's basically open on a new terminal, but yeah, you can also use just Control Tilde, and you should the first command that you should run is npm I for installing all the dependencies that you need. What is a dependency? A dependency is our libraries that we are using for doing this. For example, Next.js is a framework that we can find in the create next app library. So if you were not building anything from this, like if you didn't have the repository, what you should do is do npx create next app. And you're going to see that you now are going to see something like, hey, what is the name of your project? So maybe, I don't know, Global Hack Week. Global Hack Week, and Next.js is going to ask you, hey, do you want it to do it in TypeScript? Do you want to use a linker? Do you want to use Tailwind? So and so on. So for this, I'm going to just cancel it because we have already everything started. And for starting this, we just need to run npm start npm run dev. And with this, we are going to see that we are going to open a port into the code spaces. So now if we go into our port 3000, we are going to see that yeah, so we have an error. I don't know why, but we have one. So let me first just remove this from here. And let me just go in and ta-da, we have Next.js and TypeScript. So yeah, so I will just remove the two lines that I had here, this data and console log data. So don't worry about it. And yeah, so we have everything that we should have here. And now what do we do? The first thing that we need to understand is what is going on here and why there are so many files and what these files do, right? So just comments in the chat. So let me see again. Hello. Again, let me go into the chat to see if you have any questions. So again, hello Arpa, hello Palak, hello Sabj, hello Kubatam, hello Soy, hello Vicky. Terminal, should we create a new project and something about to be run dev? So the only command that you need is npm I. The first command is npm I and then npm run dev. Those are the two commands that you need. npm I and npm run dev. So after first installing everything and after running the dev command, you need to go into your terminal. Just open a terminal, a new terminal here. This is a new terminal. This one here, like this. And you're going to see that there are a lot of stuff going on here, right? So again, let me just clear this. The first thing that we need to do is just run npm I, that is going to install all the dependencies that we need, and then we need to install. Then we need to run npm run dev. That is going to start the next step command that basically starts a new server of Next.js. And basically, you can go into ports, and after going to ports, you can just open it in your browser with the like this browser icon. And after that, you're going to see this Next.js plus TypeScript. Let me change it to something like, I don't know, hello, Hagrid. And yeah, now you can see it. And let me just use some Python here. Text, class name, text arch, I think it's. Do we have a Python here? I think so. So let me just search for Tailwind Next.js. And let me search how to run this command. So class name. Yeah. And copy and paste this, and I'm going to just some styling here. And it's Excel and alt, and I think that should be all. Yeah, now you can see it. And basically, I was just sorry for not sharing the ID. I was just getting some Tailwind. It says here. So again, if you don't know Tailwind, if you don't know any of this stuff, don't worry about it. So we're going to see everything that we need. And again, the first thing that we need to understand is what is going on. What are these folders? Do we have all these, right? So this is a TypeScript Next.js application. So the first thing that we need to know is what is Next.js. So Next.js is basically just a framework of React. Again, React is a library of JavaScript that we use. So Next.js is built on our React. So it is a React framework that we use for the web. The cool thing about Next.js is that it has to kind of, or like it thinks like the web in two ways. The parts of the web that we use as users, for example, where we interact with the web or the site. Basically, this means like, for example, forms or basically buttons or models or things like that. So let's try to see an example. So basically, this page that I'm going to share with you is a Next.js application, but it is built in different ways. So for example, Next.js thinks about like, hey, okay, this is a page, but this page has some data, and this data interacts with the user, right? So basically what Next.js tries to do is like, hey, I don't need to render everything in the client side. Like when you visit a browser, you don't need to do or to tell your computer to do stuff for trying to process it or try to do some things like that for performance and SEO. That we're going to talk about SEO in just a few minutes. So, for example, hey, this is just text. I can store this text like in the HTML. I can store this HTML or this H1 or whatever this element is. I can share it in my server. I can store it, and whenever you want to call to this page, I can pass you this element, and so on for all the static elements that we use. Like for example, every time that the person tries to enter to this website, like all this data is going to be static. The images, the elements, and the components, like so on, so on. But for example, we have a button here, and we know because when we hover, we see that it changes its colors. But for example, when we go here and try to click on this button, the button interacts with the client, right, or with the user that is interacting with my website. So in that part, I cannot do a lot of stuff with that because I need to have that part of my page to interact with the client. So so the browser knows whenever I click that button, I know that I need to change something, right? So, for example, for doing this, I use some JavaScript and some CSS. But for changing classes and for changing, like, hey, instead of displaying this component, try to display this other one, right? So, for doing that, we need JavaScript and we need to use some logic that the client needs to process. So, because of that, we use something called a client component. So all of this is a client component. All this section that you see like around these bars is a client component. It's a component that is going to interact with my user. And so for it, for all these examples, like for example, I don't know, this one. Hey, this is a model, and this is a button, and this is a card that when you click in it, it interacts with the user. It does something with the user. So this is also a user component or a client component. Sorry. And also this button can be a client component, but for example, some things that are static like this one or these images or so on and so on can be stored in the server. We don't need to worry about processing all that information. We can just do it. We can store those elements in our server, and we can pass to the client the static data that we are going to use. So those are like the basic fundamentals. So we can use a little, we can see it a little bit more in the Next.js documentation. So you can see that we have some server components, the dynamic HTML streaming, built-in optimizations, so on, like data set fetching, the use of Tailwind, and a lot of stuff. So we have the documentation. So again, the main features about Next.js is, for example, when you want to build, I don't know, a page like for your portfolio, you have a blog, or if you have anything like that, you have to make a lot of routes. You have to make some different HTML pages for each one of your sections of your blog or things like that, you know? So Next.js also manages like the routing of all your pages. We're going to see that in the future. It renders also, or like helps you to render dynamic data. So it is what we were talking about. Whenever we want to have static data that is not going to change and is not going to interact with your user, we can render it in the server and then pass it to the user. So we have already built in the HTML for the user. Oops. Also, we can fetch data in real time. We don't have to use some things like use effect or like the use of states or things like that for fetching data from the web and then retrieving it into the server. We can do styling like using Tailwind, CSS, post CSS, and we can use TypeScript for typing or making our applications type secure. And as you see, we have like a lot of information that we have here. So if you want to read a little bit more about Next.js, you can do it. Here's the documentation. Just search nextjs.org/docs, and I'm going to pass you the chat. And if you have never worked with TypeScript before, don't worry about it. If you have ever used JavaScript, I think that should be enough for it. So no, it doesn't. Like the code it doesn't get edited in the GitHub while you are watching me. So whatever, don't worry about it. Whenever I make a change, I can just upload it to the GitHub so you can play with it. But if not, don't worry about it. So getting started, project structure. All right, so let's go into the code space. So again, once we install Next.js, we are going to see that we have a lot of stuff, we have a lot of information, some folders, and so on and so on. So basically, what we want to do here is to look up at everything that we have. So the first one is the next folder that basically has all the configuration of Next.js. So for now, we're not going to talk about this folder because we don't want to mess with it today. And the next one is the app folder. That basically the app folder is the app that stores our application, and basically is going to have like our pages, our layouts, a global CSS, file icons, so on and so on. And also, whenever we want to create a new route, we can just create a new folder and name it with the name of our route. So for example, a cool thing that you can do with Next.js is just create a new folder. And with this, let's imagine that we have something like users. And I can make a page with this, and I can just do something like this. And let me go to users, create a new file, page.tsx. And with this, just let me delete this. And function users. And with this, we have already built a route for our users route. So if we go here, we're going to see. Let me just change here users. I changed the only thing that I changed was user here, and if you can see now, well, now I'm in the root route of my application. But if I go to users, I can see that my H1 has changed to users. And again, if I just go to my root route, I can see that it's going to change really quick. So this is a cool thing that has Next.js. You can make automatic routing with just creating a new folder, and for making that route like the root or like so for making a route, we first need to create a new folder with the name of our route, and inside that folder we need to strictly name the first file page.tsx or JS. If you're using JavaScript, you can use both of them. You're going to see that we have HTML and you have like some functions and so on and so on. If you have never used React, let me explain this to you. Basically, what we are doing is just exporting a function. This is not synchronous. But yeah, if you are new to React, we are just exporting a new function that is going to be exported by default, and it's going to be called users. And this function is going to return JSX. That basically JSX is HTML combined with JavaScript. You can imagine that, hey, I can manage HTML and do cool stuff like having something like content here, like says const number of users is equal to 100, and I can say the number of users and number of users. And with this, now if I go to users, you can see that the number of users is going to be displayed. So basically, you can play with JavaScript and your HTML without having to worry about like creating functions in another JavaScript file and so on and so on. And yeah, so now we have the number of users and we have a lot of stuff. So what I was saying is that in each route that you want to build with Next.js, the only thing that you need to care about is having a file called page.tsx, that is going to indicate that, hey, whenever the user visits a route called users, the thing that you're going to display is the stuff that is stored in the page.tsx file. Okay, so I hope it makes sense. Uh, yeah. Let me know if I'm going to quick. And could you use how you got the users page? Yeah, sure. Again, for making a route, you need to create a new folder in your app folder with the name of your route. Imagine hackers, and the other thing that you need to do is create a new file with the name of page.tsx, and you can copy and paste the information that you already have. You're going to have an export default function called um, hackers. And instead of doing this, we're going to have something like an object of names or an array like const hacker is equal to hackers array. It's going to be equal to this, and it's going to be the names of the persons who are in the stream, which are Savage, Polak, and Savage, I think it's Search, SH, and Indigo. So whenever you want to, so for example, if we want to display the number of users, or try to traverse this array and display all the names of the persons, we can do something like a mapping function. We can just do hacker array.map and hacker, and we're going to return this. And blah blah. So we have hacker. We're going to return. Sorry, but so we have hacker. This is already called. This is we return servlet. I think I forgot to do something. Oh, I got my keyboard design. And let me just change this to sorry, we're not talking. I'm trying to just build this each one with the name of the hacker. Yeah, I'm going to simply return and then format everything, and then this hacker and the hacker name. Again, so so we can do stuff like this in JSX. So we have our hackers array, and our hackers array has some names of the hackers that are now in the stream. So basically, we're just passing another HTML, and this HTML is going to traverse all the hackers array. And after traversing it, is going to return for each hacker that is in the array, is going to return an H1 with the name of the hacker. And I forget to add again the class name of font 3XL. I think it's 3XL or 3 large or anything like that. And let's go now to hackers. And now we are in hackers. Text. Yeah. Let's Excel. And blah, blah. So now if we go into the hackers route, we're going to see that we have Palace, Cypress, Indigo, so on, so on. Again, the only thing that we're doing is to create a new folder in the app route, in the app folder. After creating this new folder with the name of our route, we're going to add a page.tsx file. This is going to store the main content of our file. So let me see if this can be, yeah. So now we have a hackers array that is going to return uh, an h1 with the name of the hackers, and again, it is just a route. So this is the routing that we have in Next.js. Then we have our main page here. So for now, don't worry about this. We're not going to use it. What I want to explain is what is a layout. Basically, a layout is something that you can imagine to be in all the routes that we have. So, for example, if we have something like I don't know, we go here and instead of passing this, we pass something inside the body like an h1 that says, "Hello, hackers." And wait, something like "Hello, hackers," and it's paste. Now you can see that Hello Hacker is going to appear in all the routes, no matter if I go to the route, to the root route, or if I go to the users route or anything like that. Hello Hacker is going to appear everywhere. So if you're building something like a navbar, or if you're building like a footer or anything like that, layout helps a lot. So usually the common use of layouts are basically passing a footer, a navbar, and so on and so on. And also in layout, we have a cool thing that if you ever try to use a font from Google or anything like that, you can import all the fonts that are in Google. If you like I don't know, IBM, Plex Sans or Plex Mono or anything like that, you can import it. You can then change the configuration here for changing the font or the main font of your application. And it's going to have all the fonts and the weights that you need. And also you have the metadata here. The basically metadata is information that the browsers like Google, like DuckDuckGo or things like that uses for trying to post your well, I think it's better to research something like cats. So let me go to Google. I found cats. So basically, when I found cats, I see that the results are in Spanish. Sorry for that, but I can see that Wikipedia is here. It's also YouTube. It's also Film Affinity, BBC, Google.com, Google Play, sorry, and so on, so on. So I have a lot of stuff here, but if I want to create something like, I don't know, a cat's refugee page that I want it to be on the first page of this browser, of this browse. Whenever I found cats, I don't want to see Wikipedia. I want to see my cat refugee here. Or if I found cats in Ciudad de Mexico, I can see that I have some musicals, some information from the government of Mexico, and so on and so on. But again, if I want my refugee to be at the top of this browse, I can do a lot of SEO performance or improvement or anything like that. So that is why we use metadata. Also, whenever if you use Discord, if you go now, if you go Hack Week announcements and see that we have, let me go again to, yeah. So if you go to the Global Hack Week announcements and you see my first announcement, you're going to see that we have GitHub, we have React Blog, we have Next.js Docs, and so on. But you can see that whenever I share a link, I can see an image with some important information like docs, welcome to Next.js, and so on and so on. You can configure everything that you need here. So if we are going to build a cryptocurrency, and if I want to pass to my friend some link that says which one is the price of the Dogecoin or anything like that, or like, I don't know, Bitcoin, and I want to create an image automatically to share the price of the Bitcoin or the Dogecoin. Whenever I share that link, I can do it. I can just do that. And a good example of that is, let me search for, I think it had it here. Yeah. A good example of that is the sambaker.com page. That is, let me share it in the Global Hack Week channel, Web3 Week. So whenever I go to Sam Becker and I share it in the Discord channel, you can see that it is not an image; it's a GIF that basically looks or like shows you how the real page is looking up. So if you go into Sam Becker, you're going to see that is basically the metadata that we shared. You can see that is like the portfolio of Sam Becker, but as you can see, it changes. So yeah, metadata is a great tool that we can use. And if you want to build awesome things like that, you can do it with the metadata. And Next.js gives you like really easy, like allows you to make a lot of stuff with this. And yeah, so a good example of this, instead of my page being called Next.js app, I can change it to well, Hack Week Web3. And with this, I can now, if now I go into my page that is running, I can see that in the title is, I can see my title change on my page. So instead of being create next app, is now Global Hack Week Web3. And yeah, so that is the app folder. Now we have some other folders like node modules. Basically, node modules is where you store like all your libraries and other libraries files. So you don't need to worry about that. Public is a folder that we care about. Basically, in public is where we store all of our assets, no matter if there are images or sounds or videos or anything like that. If you want to save a Pokemon image or a Pokemon sound or anything like that, if you are building a Pokédex, you can save it here. Also, we have a linter that basically is a linter for your code that is going to ensure that you're following the Next.js and TypeScript rules. So whether, if for example, if I, instead of typing export, I don't know, put something like export, you're going to see that there is an error. It is Next.js doesn't identify that word or anything like that. So yeah, basically that's a linter. Then we have git ignore, a file that basically is going to tell GitHub or your Git repository, hey, please don't put any of these files into my Git repository. Try to avoid them and don't even care to track the changes of this file. And then we have the license, and license is just MIT license. And then we have the next environment variables. Also, you don't need to worry about them. Also, next config is it's a file that you can use for alterate the configuration that we have. So if you have something like a plugin, or if you want to use a cool library that manages, I don't know, MDX files or anything like that, you can use them. For now, we're not going to move anything like that. And the package JSON is a cool thing that we need to look into, because as you can see, we have a lot of dependencies. We have type node, React, React DOM, we have the next links, the next, the post CSS, Tailwind. So we have all of our dependencies right here. So if you ever use Python, you can imagine that this is the requirements.txt that you use whenever you are building a Python application. And if you ever use Python, you install, I don't know, pandas, matplotlib, or something like that, and you can see that you are going to install all our libraries. But if you want to share that libraries with your teammates, you can run a command that is called freeze requirements.txt to pass all the dependencies that you are using in your project to other person. And whenever for example, if I fork your project and run pip install dependencies, I mean requirements.txt, is going to install other requirements or the dependencies that you're using in your Python project. So it's the same thing here. We're using a lot of dependencies. We're using some scripts that help us to run some commands like npm run dev, npm run build, npm run start, or something like that. This helps us to install all of our dependencies in other computer. If my friend, if I install, for example, a library that add random cats to my page, I can just upload, I can just open my terminal and do npm install cats or anything like that, like npm install uh, random cats. I mean, I don't even know if this library exists, but yeah, it is going to modify this file, and after modifying it, it's going to add my new dependency of random cats. And now, whenever I go into a new computer, I clone my repo, I run npm install, it's going to install all the dependencies that are new into my package. And this post CSS is model that we're not going to touch. The README is just a README, and the Tailwind config is just a Tailwind config that we have for running Tailwind. And yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Is a lot of things here. Sorry for not checking that, but I wanted to make sure to finish this part. Let me see the chat because I see that there are a lot of things. Blah, blah. Okay, so I see that Rafter is having Rafter is having a problem. No problem. So you're not getting the users page. Okay. So again, just something to take care of is that whenever we are building a new page, we need to copy and paste this. But for example, if I do something like a new folder called cats, I can just create a new file that says page.tsx. And now because the route is called cats, I can just pass this and export the default async function. Instead of being cat, I can home, I can rename it to cats. Because if I name it home, it is going to have some problems with the other functions that are being um, exported, because Next is going to try to understand, hey, where is home coming from? Is home coming from this file, this file, this file, blah, blah, blah. So try to also change the name of cats. Also, again, we're imagine it like we're building a function, like function cats or like kittens is equal to uh, oh, function kittens is a new function. And yeah, right. But what if I want to export that function to some person or to other file, right? So I should pass export function kittens. So that indicates JavaScript that you're going to export something, right? But hey, I don't want to export everything from it. I want to always, if someone calls to my a route or if someone calls to this function from other file, I want to default export these to export default my function kittens. But because we also have a export default function cats, we have a problem, right? So yeah, we can just use the export function kittens. And after exporting something, we can imagine that we need to return something, right? So for returning, you should open first these brackets. And something that you need to worry about is that, hey, you're just going to pass something, right? So you know that HTML has like different boxes, you can imagine them. Like, hey, I'm going to pass a div. I'm going to pass a div that is going to count the number of kittens. Count kittens or the number of kittens. Kittens is it, right? So I can have this, but what I cannot is to pass two things, like two divs. And awesome kittens are coming tomorrow. Yeah. So we cannot pass that. we need to pass just one thing stored in another. So if we want to make another date, we can put this like this, right? And yeah, now it's going to work. So yeah, let me know if that makes or solves your problem. And blah, blah, blah. I created a folder. I created a page that yeah, it's not yeah. Yeah, thank you so much, Park. Uh-huh. Yeah, thank you so much, Park. And yeah, so now that we understand a little bit about Next.js, let me go again into the page.tsx. So usually what we do whenever we want to fetch some data in JavaScript, we use fetch, right? So we use the same thing here, but let's do this from the start. So let me just quit this. So what if we try to get a function called get data? Get data is going to be an async function that is going to return something, right? It's going to return data from somewhere. So I'm going to pass something like constant. This is going to be await fetch, and we're going to instead using this, we're going to use some Pokemon API data. And let me pass to you the Pokemon API. This is the Pokemon API. We have the Pokemon API here. So we have the Poke API slash API slash B2 Pokemon data. This should give to us data uh, from the Pokemon data. And this data is going to have some kind of object. So yeah, we have a data function here. And the cool thing about this is that we can fetch information from it like inside my component, right inside my page, without having to use some kind of a state or use effect that are something that we use in React for interacting. But whenever we are using them, we use the client computer for trying to fetch that data, right? So imagine that we have our function get data. I can just go here and do something like const data is equal to await data. And if I go to my root page, I'm going to see that I fetch that data, but maybe I want to console log that data. And maybe I want to, I don't know, console log data. And yeah, I think this should be working right now. So let me open a new terminal and this terminal, and let me go here. And yeah, I can see that now my data is being fetched. So as you can see, we're doing like we are seeing our things in the server. That the server is my server that I started in, like with the command or yeah, the command npm run dep that is starts a new Next.js server, and we don't even need to go to my page and go into DevTools and see my console. I can see it like right here. And as you can see, we have abilities, we have some forms and game indices. We have a height, ID, a sprite, so on, so on, some versions, stats, blah, blah, blah. So let's search just for the blah, blah, blah. So yeah, we have name and we have data. So let me get just instead of putting this data dot name, and if we go into yeah, I wasn't yeah, my bad. Sorry for that. So yeah, we don't even need to go to the tools or anything like that. We are going to see that we have all of our console data right here. So we have already fetched the information that we needed. So yeah, the only thing that I did was change the code to open brackets data.name. And after doing this, I went to my, I go to my page, and as we can see, we have the name of the Pokemon, which is Zero. And what if instead of seeing the name, we want, so let me just add some CSS here, like flex, flex, and flex, no, this file center. And it becomes item center. I think it was. See if this is correct. Yeah, I think, and hide screen. I think it's like this. Yeah. And now, so I just added some CSS. I can explain it a little bit later. So maybe let's see the name of the Pokemon and an image. Also, Next.js uses a component that helps you to render a little bit better your image. So Next.js uses this component called images. It helps you to perform a little bit better your image, the fetch of that image, and try to put some placeholders when the image is being downloaded, and some other things that we are going to talk about later. And so we have data sprites, front, I think it's called. Yeah, I think so. And we also need to pass as strictly the width. So I want it to be 100 and 100, and I want to have an out that's called Pokemon. Right, so we have here, but let me see which is called. I think it was sprites. Blah, blah, blah. So we have, yeah, this is sprites. So front default. Sprites.front default. And blah, blah. I think we have an error. Source. What? Isn't this control of this? And try to see from default, and let me see if this returns to me the thing that I'm not model has expected main. Yeah. Let me just comment this. You see, and yeah, so it says HTTP right with sprites. Yeah, it is showing same size of image. Hmm. So, huh? Yeah, now we can see it. Sorry for that. I don't know what happened. Let me see if I use these words, because I don't know what happened here. Symbol source prop. Huh. Interesting. I don't know what's going on here. So embed source prop. On next image, host name is not configured under your images in your next config. Yeah. I don't know what happened here. So let's continue with this image, and then we're going to try to fix that. So yeah, if we add that image, we see that we have fetched like the image of Dito right here. So if we add something like width 100 and a height 100, it should be uploaded. No, it is not. So yeah, but as you can see, we have already static data like really easy. Didn't have to use any kind of use effect or any kind of I don't know, use a state or anything to try to first try to reload the page and then pass that information to a state and then use the state and pass it to my component and so on and so on. No, the image is important. Yeah. The image is imported here. Um, I think I know what it is, and just go here, put source into something like um, start G and have a width 100, height 100, and on out of text logo and blah blah. Well, I mean, so we have the source next to this BG, and we're not saying that it's BG. We're not saying that. So we have a high, and oh no, we have we have one. All right, so the color must be so class color. So yeah, it is showing itself, but again, why is not showing the data? So let's try to see how to fetch an image in. Let's try to search it in Chrome. So let me go again here. Let me share my tab and let's try to fetch image in next. Yes, 13. So, so next displaying an image. Okay, so we have source. No, this is not what I'm seeing. That is sprites, that from default. Let's see what error is that is showing here. So let me quit this, and so we have invalid source prop. So invalid source on next image. You have to nothing, just add code in the Next.js. So let's try to see what is going on here. So fixing the Next.js environment high, next image. Let's say we have the yeah. We try to that, yeah. In order to fix this, we need to add the external CDS. All right. Oh, got it, got it. That is a good cat. All right. So, okay, so I think it's for security. So let me go into my next, I think it's the next config. Yeah, next config. So let me go to the next config and add images. And instead of putting this, we should put something like, and yeah, it resets itself because we are altering the configuration of Next.js. So let me just add the Pokemon API here, the pokeapi.com. PokeAPI, no, Poke, the Poke API, yeah, and let's go, and hopefully this should work. Hopefully. So okay, so we have I did this, let me clear and then npm run that. And after doing this, let me go again into my, yeah, so now we're doing this. So let me go here and missing required error component, refreshing, yeah, compile and client. So, what? Okay. Missing error required, missing error components, what? So images in mine, models, yeah, domains, Okay, so yeah, I don't know what's going on. Okay, so I'm trying to open a new tab. Host name, oh yeah, my bad. Let me add it again to the terminal. Let me close the ports because we have a lot of ports here. I don't know why we have so many. So let me go again to the terminal, try to get this, comma, and just do npm run that. And hopefully with this, that should be enough for it to compile. And blah, blah, blah. Let me go again to my ports, go to the 3001, and blah, 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 blah. Hopefully we should have two datas with this. No. Under your images in your next config, see more into the config. Okay, so next image, what is your component plus value that uses host name, the URL that is notified, Oh, it's the remote partners. Okay. Images. Okay, so remote partners, protocol, HTTPS, host name, port, path name. Okay, got it. So instead of this, I think that was for the older version. So we have remote partners, protocol, instead of that, that should be road, and let's see if this fixes the problem. Let me again quit this port. I don't know why we keep keeping the ports open. And step. And with this, where portrait is in use. Oh yeah, yeah, I see why. Because they are in use. And blah blah blah. Yay! We did it! Yay! We did it! Let's go! Sorry for that. But yeah, the only thing that we needed to change, I didn't know about this. I think this is new in the next 13 version. So yeah, so for letting our images work with the image component, we should first go to remote partners. Well, we should first go to the nextconfig.js. After going to nextconfig.js, we should go here up to nextconfig and add these um, to our object. We should pass first images. That is an object. This images object is going to have an key that is called remote partners. That's going to be a list of objects, and this list of objects is going to have each one of them. Well, not each one of them. Like they can have more and more keys. But this one is going to be the name of the protocol, the host name, and the port. And with this, that should be everything for it to work. Let me pass this. Let me put that here. And yeah. So let me see the chat if you have any questions. So, can you send the link of the? Yeah, I can send the link of the repo. Let me just go into my GitHub. I'm going to my GitHub. Let me go to my profile, and let me go to repositories, and then to Hack Week. Let me search this, and let me go into the StreamYard. Oh, all right, Pog. Thank you so much, Pog. And thank you so much, Raftar. You have not imported the image component. Yeah, 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 la, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, uh-huh. Yeah. Thank you so much, the Prati. So yeah, now we have everything for it to run. So you should be, if everything is now working for you, you should be seeing two details. The first detail is just a detail from the next image component, and the second one is the detail from the image, normal image HTML. But if you want to build your application, you're going to have an error that you're using an image that maybe don't have enough CEO and so on, so on. Yeah, I don't know why, but if you see, whenever if we reload these, like they already update itself. So let me change this to cats. And yeah, so we have health, well, but if we return into our root, we're going to see that we have a data. And a thing that I don't understand, to be honest, is why the next image uh, says to be a little bit faster and that has better performance and so on, so on. But you see it, right? So let me go again. No, so we are now in cats, but if we, instead of going to cats, we go into my user, my root, sorry, you saw that the right data charts before the left data. So I think it's because next image does a lot of stuff behind. One of them is trying to fetch that data, and whenever that data is loading we can put something like a placeholder, right? So maybe that placeholder can be a pokeball. So this is a cool thing that Next.js has, or Next image has, is so we have and and let me go to placeholder. It should be blur, and or data URL should be the URL of this, and it should be um, I don't know, maybe something like a Pokeball. And that Pokeball can be, or a pixelated Pokeball. And yeah, let me just copy this address and then go here. Yeah, so cool. So the thing that we are doing here is to put a placeholder while the image is loading. So for putting that image, we can put just the URL of this image, and with this I think I should just go again here and going to receive a, do you receive a problem? No, I think not, but cable the users and then go again to my root. I don't know why it's not showing itself. Blah 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 blah. So let me go again to the documentation and let me go to next image and go to image and see blah 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 on load on hub blur data. Yeah, here it is. So data URL is used to be a placeholder before the search image is filled. It only takes effect when it's combined with placeholder blur and must be a base. Oh yeah, I think why. Okay, so this should be an encoded base 64 encoded image. You will be enlarged and blur. So very small image size is recommended, including larger images placeholder. All right. So let me go to blur hash. So blur hash is a compact representation of placeholder for the image. So maybe if we go here and encode sort. So let me just download the Pokeball image. No, Pokeball. Let me try this app. Pokeball pixel image. And let me go here. Yeah, but I don't want that. I want a PNG. No, it is not PNG. So let me see if this is in PNG. Yeah, but it has. All right, you want me to do it. So let me go to remove background. After going there, I have my Pokeball, download it. Let me go again to Blur Hash. So share this instead. Let me go to my downloads. Let me pass that here now. Here I download it. There you are. So let me now upload my image. Okay, I think it must be a PNG. So yeah, maybe. Let's call this like this image. Which one is a good data? This is a good data, but this is too large. Oh, image. Small image. Small, small image. Okay, so this is small image. Yes, it is. But it's a PNG. Ah! Now that I need PNGs, now you show me PNGs, right? I don't know what's going on with Google. Huh. All right, so forget about it. Like, we're wasting a lot of time here. Sorry. But the thing that you need to know is that blah, 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 blah. Sorry for that. I forgot to add the. I think I could. Yeah, I think now you can see my screen. Yeah, now you can see it. Yeah, so yeah, don't worry about it. The thing that I want to show you, you can search it like how to blur a placeholder. So basically, you can blur data in or like an image while your image is waiting or is being downloaded to put a placeholder, and you can see it like in the hash, or how it was called, hash image. Next, yes. Add image component, Hashlib, I think it's called hash. No, it is not called hashlib. Image placeholder next to yes. You can see that, yeah. So while you're waiting for your image to being downloaded or being fetched, you can put something for being in that image, like a skeleton, but instead of putting in a skeleton, you can put a blur image as a placeholder. So that is what I wanted to show you. But yeah, we're waiting, wasting a lot of time here. I should be showing some other things. So yeah, so we already learned how to fetch an image. We already how to learn to fetch a server component or anything like that. But maybe you're saying like, hey David, what happens if I want to have a button that do some stuff, right? Like click me, and that button, whenever I put something like an on click, um, do stuff, right? Like I don't know, like console log. No, I don't. Yeah, like console log. Hello, and yeah, sorry for again not sharing the tab. But hey, David, what happens if I want to put a button that says unclick, and with this unclick, I want to say hello whenever I click it? So as you can see, we're getting an error here, and we're getting in the console. Why? Why is that? And basically, it's called because we have an event that is called unclick, and that event interacts with the user. So that says that our server is not more a server component, is a client component because we're interacting with the user. So because we're interacting with the user, Next.js almost goes crazy and says, "Hey, this is not a server component." Ah. But we can fix that really easy. Like the only thing to say that a component is going to be a client component is at the top of our component something called use space client. And with that, Next.js goes chill and says, oh, yeah, it's just another component. You can click it, and we can see that we're going to have something in the console, right? Yeah, I think so. So we have sorry for that. Should be like this. And with that, yeah. So that should be everything. What is going on? So yeah, we had to. So again, if I click into that button, I think I'm going to call to console.log.hello. And yeah, but as you can see, the server is not going crazy. Like Next.js says, don't worry about it. This is just a server component or anything like that. But what happens if I want to combine both of them? Can I do it? The answer is yes, my friend, you can do it. Let's try to go and share this tab. And we can do components. We can create a folder called components. In these components, we're going to put another folder called something like, I don't know, cool cats or cats button. And with this cat button, we're going to have an index.js, index.jsx that is going to indicate that this is going to be a component. And we're going to use again the, let me see if I have it. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I have it. It's going to be called cat button. Instead of being this, it's going to have a button that says something like click. I wanted to, I don't know, have a H3 says amount of cats, and we're going to have a state. And for doing a state, we should import this state from React, and we're going to start a state. It says cat set cats, and we're going to put it here like a cat. And we should first get all of this stuff into one this component of buckets. And after doing that, so okay, so we have a button. That button says like add more cats, and with that we are going to do something like on each click. It's going to say something like, let me remove this. And say like, hey, on each click, I want you to use something like use a state. Let's refer this. I want you to do something like set cats, cat plus one. Previous cat plus one. And I mean, if I want to use that in my page, I can just import it, like import cats button from my components and from cat button. And if I wanted to use it in my use my serverless, like in my component, which is a server component, I can just do something like this button. And instead of doing this button, I can just do the cat button right here, right? And blah blah. So it's state. Oh yeah, I forgot to add the use client. Use client. And with this, yeah, blah blah blah. Yes, cats. You're right. And this applies this client. Client, and so now everything should be ready to go. And blah blah. So we have an H3 with the text. Oh yeah, we didn't even start this. should be started as 0. And just verifying about it. Oh yeah, that is why. Yeah, you're right. Uh, yeah, because we are using an async function in this, we have problems with the client, right? So we have an error says async await is not yet supported in client components. Oh yeah, and this is because this is a client function. This is a async function, so that is wrong. So it should be just a function. So yeah, so if we see that we're adding thousands of cats to these, right? So yeah, we can see that we have combined client components with server components. And as we can see, we can interact with the user in a really cool way. So just remember that if you're going to use a client, don't use async functions in this. Just use a default function, and try to not to use the client for fetching data or fetching some important information. In the next documentation, you can see blah blah blah. No, getting started, how to use, how community, be sure I can do started, visibility. Oh yeah, I think it is with server components, server side, server components. We go to the documentation and try to search server components. Let me share it in the StreamYard. Yeah, it means that, yeah. So what we should write to make it a client component. So to make it a client component, the only thing that you need to write is this thing that is at the top of our component that is called use client. So yeah, as you said, it means that in server components, we can also put client components. So yeah, that means so. But yeah, as you can see, if we go into the next JS documentation, if we search server components, we can see some things about the benefits of server-side rendering, about like the data fetching, caching, bundle sizes, initial close. That is some kind of more advanced that you're going to see while you're building projects and projects and projects. So the thing that I wanted to show you here is where it was client. I think it was this one. Yeah. So this page right here, let me share with you in the StreamYard, indicates when should you use a site server component and when you should use a client component. So basically you have this table right here that says that, hey, are you fetching data? So if you're fetching data, a server component would be great for doing that. But if you're doing something like add interactivity with a client or an event listener or anything like that, I encourage you to use a client component by just putting at the top of your component, use client. And with that, you should be all. Like if you're using states, like cycle, if you're browser only APIs, or if you're using custom hooks that you have in your React, or if you're using React classes or something like that, a client component should be really good for that. But if not, if you're using just accessing to your backend resources, keep sensitive information, keep large dependencies on the server to reduce the client side write JavaScript, I encourage you to use a server component. But if not, you can use a client component. That should be all. And there are a lot of patterns that you can use. You can learn how to share data between server and client, and so on, so on. But yeah, you can read about that. So unfortunately, we have run out of time right now. So, so I see that there are no more questions. But yeah, that is all for this stream. Tomorrow we have another stream 1 hour later than today as we started. So if today we started like at 10 p.m. ET. Now, tomorrow we start at 11 ET. So yeah, with that should be all. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much, Park, Indigo. Thank you so much for the public talks. Thanks to Raftar. Thanks to Mertle. Thanks to everyone who was here. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you learned something new. Uh, yeah, please take a look to the documentation. Next.js is really, really cool. And take a look to Vercel. Vercel is also a real cool thing that you can take a look into. And yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, we'll continue from where we left off. Let me just make a commit for this and try to push the changes to my repo. So fetch it. And let me go into confirm and synchronize. And yeah, I think the changes are now in the repo. And yeah, thank you so much for everything. And have a great night. Have a great day. And yeah, have a great Go Hug week. See ya.